Hello friends, welcome to online shopping cart project using Blazor server. This is part 7. In our previous video, we have created this entire structure, the header, footer and the categories and the product panel. Okay, so here we are in this part we are going to get the category, and for the particular category let's get the respective products. So here in our admin panel, whatever flow we have designed, for example, the services will be calling the APIs in the admin controller. So similarly, we are going to design the flow for our web shop.web application. So here from this index page, we are going to simply call the API, the service. Okay, here I have named it as user controller. Okay, let's name this as user service, user panel service. And let's name the interface as I user panel. Okay, because this goes in sync with the controller name, and in the logic we have the okay, let's create one service here and name it as add a new class and name it as user service and add a new class. Let's take the interface this time, I user service. Okay, and here we can have I user service. Let's make this as public, and this looks fine. So similar to what we have in our admin panel, we have the admin controller. So for user we have user controller, for admin service we have, and similar to admin service we have the user service, and here we have the user panel service. Okay, so from this index page we are going to call the respective methods in our user panel, and then the rest of the flow, as you all know from our previous videos, it will remain the same. So first let's create the objects. So here I'm going to create two objects. One is the categories and the products, and this will be category model and product model. So to make use of this, we are going to inherit few interface in a namespace here. So here I'm going to shop.datamodels.custom models and this web service and this iUser panel service and protected. Okay, so this iUser panel service, let's make it public. Let's get back to index.razor. It's not showing. Okay, so here it's user panel service. Okay, I have not added the R here, so let's make it R. Okay, so I have the user panel service now available here in our index. Let's save all. Now this for session storage, as we have used in our admin panel, we're going to, in this imports, we're going to copy this line and put it in the imports.razor of our front end panel. Okay, so let me close all these tabs and open the fresh index.html, and here you can see all the namespaces are and services are injected properly. Now here I have the categories and the products, two things I have created. Now I have to create the method to get the categories, and then get the categories and bind it in this column menu. So for that, on this page load or on initialize method, we are going to call this await get categories, and we are going to create this method get categories here. Okay, so as you can see on this, we are calling this get categories, and this get categories in is calling the user panel service get categories, and which will indirectly call the API. So once this category is called, we'll store it in this variable, and if it is not null and the count is greater than 0, then we'll be loading the product for that category. So I'll, for time being, will not create this method. Let's comment it off, and let's go in our user panel service. So here we have to simply go in our admin panel service and try to copy this, and let's copy this one as well and copy it and paste it here. And instead of this user panel service, let's make it change the admin to user panel service. And here if you see, we have to make, we'll need the respective package for this. So we'll open the package manager console, and here let's cls, and we'll need the library which we have to pull, and let's make this shop.web as this default project. So here I will show you the package. This is the Microsoft ASP.NET Core Blazor component, and so this we are going to copy and paste it here. This is the command line, install package, copy it and paste here and install. So once this is installed properly, then we can simply use the, okay, let me, now admin panel, if we see, we have system.net HTTP client. So here you can simply use this one, okay, and this package is also installed properly. Now we have to create a method to get the categories. If we go in our admin panel service, we already have a method to get categories, so we'll simply copy it and paste it here. And this category model we are inheriting from shop.datamodels.custom models, so we have to add it here. So after that, just get JSON async. For this get JSON async, we have to import this package, and this package we have already used as part of, installed as part of this ASP.NET Core Blazor HTTP client. Okay, so now it's fine. Now instead of admin, we have to use user. You can say like we are repeating the code, but for separation of concerns, we don't want both the panels to get mixed up. So our admin panel, we have this get categories. We'll simply copy this and paste it in our here. So if you see, we have this admin service, so instead of admin service, we'll create the user service. So here we'll create simply this one, copy it here, paste, and I don't want this one, so I'll remove this second parameter, and I only want the user service. So I user service, and let's name it as user service, and let's inject it here, and instead of admin controller, change it to user controller. I user service will be named here, and this will be like a user service. I'm going to assign it to this one, and this user service I'm going to use it here. Okay, now for this I have to simply call this, I have to just simply add the, because if we see here in our dependencies projects, I have this shop.logic, and here this user service, okay, I'll have to make it public. Okay, by going user controller, I can simply inherit the required namespace. Fine. Now in this admin panel service, I have this get categories. I'm simply going to copy it, paste it in this one, and paste it in this, sorry, not here, in this iUser service. And in our admin service, I have this get categories. I'm going to copy this entire method and paste it here. Okay, so in admin service, we have created this DB context. So this, I'll copy this entire thing, put it here, and change it to simply this one, and inherit the required namespace. And category model also needs this shopping.data model. So I'm click on this. This to list will require the link queue. Okay, so this, all these things look pretty fine. And okay, so here also I'm going to inherit the required namespace, and all looks fine now. So let's go in our first layer. In this index.razor, we have got this get categories, and we have created this users panel service. And here simply I'll copy this line and paste it in the iUser panel service, and then I can simply call the required things from index.razor. So index.razor, let's open index.razor, and here I can see I get the categories properly. Okay, so let me try to run it now. Whatever categories I've got, I'll have stored in this one. So here inside this menu, I need the structure to show the categories. So whatever CSS was required, that we have already added it here, and simply I have to create the structure too. The structure will be simple. It will be a for loop, which will just loop through all the categories and display them. So here, if the categories is null, then I have to show this pan as a loading. If it is not null, then simply I have to loop through each of the categories and bind it in this one. And on click of the category, I have to show the product for that category. So I have to create this method now, and in the text I will be showing the name of the category. Okay, so let's create this method load product by category, which we have commented here also. Okay, so I've created this method load product by category, which will receive the category, and for that category it will so this category will be received as an input parameter, and for that particular category the products will be loaded, and those products will be assigned to this product. So that we'll see later on. So let's close all the pages, build the solution. Let's build the entire solution. Okay, so build has been succeeded. Let's run it. Control F5. Okay, we'll have to add the required service as we did for shop admin panel. Let's close all the pages, and in this shop startup, okay, here we have added all the similar to this service we'll have to add for our user panel. So in our shop.web startup.cs, next to this line, let's add I user panel service, user panel service. That's okay, this looks fine. Let's do control F5 now. Okay, so we have got an error. User panel service get API get categories. Okay, so similar to what we have done in our API, in shop.api, we have to go in startup and add the user service as well. Okay, sorry, let's run it now. Okay, so you can see we have got the respective categories here. Whatever categories we have in our admin panel, that we have got loaded on our user panel. So we have three categories, all three are loaded here. And the thing is, like, when user click on a category, for that category whatever products are available, that we have to show. So let's add one more category, kids toy, kid toys, and let's click on save. Category added successfully. Let's refresh this. So I have the category. So this becomes synchronized. Now let's add the code to get the products for a particular category. So in our on our products, we have this two products we have added for this menswear. So let's add the code to get the product. Okay, so let's close all these tabs and let's go on index.eraser. So this is done. Now similar to what we have got, now we need a method to get the load product by category. And here inside this we'll be writing the logic to get the products for a particular category. Okay, so from this category I am assigning the category name to a local variable. So let's create that local variable, category name, and then I am creating this method user panel service get product by category ID. Okay, so whatever this category is being passed, for that, from that I am getting the name and assigning it to this local variable, and that category model contains the category ID as well. So from based on that category ID, I'm calling this method get product by category ID. So I'll have to create this method in this user panel service. So here it's a get product by category ID, and the return type is list of product model, and the path is API user get product by category ID, and here question mark category ID equal to the category ID which is being passed here. I'll copy this syntax and put it here in the interface, and let's create the method in our user controller. So after this get categories, we have to get the products for the category. Okay, so I have simply a get method. It will receive the category ID, and then again it will further call the user service, which is part of our logic layer. So inside this user service, let's create the method. So here it's a method get product by category ID. So we are getting the data products for the particular category ID, and we are looping through all the product, and finally we are adding it to the product model list, and simply we are sending it back. Let's add the syntax here back in our user service. Okay, so let's go and see what happens in this. Let's run the code. So as on the page load itself, if you see the index.razor page, on page load we are calling this get category. So once the component index.razor is initialized, we are calling this get categories. So it will get the categories and assign it here. If it is not null and count is greater than 0, that means some records are there. So it will take the first category itself. Okay, and then it will pass it to this method, take the name, and then pass the ID and get the products. Okay, so we'll have to add the code design here in this column content. Okay, so the design is pretty simple. I have a if and else part. If the product is null, then we are simply showing null, the loading sign. If it is not null, that means records are there, then I'm calling this using this class container. And here I have added two divs. On the first div, I am simply showing the category name, so that user will show for this category the products are being shown. I have added few simple style of padding, bottom and margin. Then the second row contains the loop for each product. So for each product, I'm using this column. This it's a part of Bootstrap, and on top of this Bootstrap, I have added the stuff class. And here, if you see, I have added a button. So this button, I'm simply showing the name of the product, and there's an image tag as well. So on the image, I'm showing the image with some certain radius and border. Then another div, I'm showing the price of the product, and then I'm showing the stock available, product.stock. And if this product.cart flag, there's a cart flag, the flag is true, that means the product is added in our cart. If it is false, then it is not added. If it is added, then I'm simply showing the remove from cart button. Okay, and if it is not added, then I'm simply showing add to cart. The method, if you see, both are same because the decision will be taken whether the product is there in the cart or not in the logic of this method. Okay, so this looks pretty simple. So here we simply have to create this method add to cart click. So let's go and create that method. Okay, so this product add to cart click will receive the product which is actually clicked, and on that we have to take a decision whether the button will be removed from cart or add to cart. Okay, so for time being we have simply added that method as a blank method. So let's build the entire solution and then run it. So build succeed. Let's close. Let me do a control F5. So the admin panel is loaded, and let's go on the user panel. If you see here, the partyware, the first part is the partyware. So admin panel, let's see whether so two records are there. Let's add a let's go in the let's click on menswear. Okay, so you can see here like the details are available. Blue shirt super. So both the products are being displayed here, but the images are not shown. Let's open a new tab. So here you can see the localhost name is 57. This is the path, and if you see the localhost, this one, because these images are coming from the API, so we have to put the path of this one, I think. Let's try this one. Let's put it here. Let's refresh it. Funny manage new tab. If it's showing 0.png, contains errors. Okay, yes. So here let's open a new tab again. It's showing that the image is available, but it cannot be displayed. It contains some error. So to fix this error, we'll have to simply go in this startup file of our API, because the images are being loaded from the web root of the API. In the web root of the API, we have these images of the products. Okay, because whatever is being uploaded from the admin panel is stored in the API level. So in the startup.cs, we have to add one tag to access the static files. Okay, so here we have to add this app.use static files, and let's refresh it. Okay, so now I can load the path, load the image from the API URL, and it accesses the folder with that one. Okay, so let me try to type 1.png, and it shows that. Okay, now so let's close it. Now refresh it again. Let's click on menswear. Okay, so now you're able to see that it shows the image with proper image, and it shows the price, stock, and everything. Now the next part is when user clicks on add to cart, we are going to increase this counter and change the text of this button to remove from cart. If user clicks on remove from cart, then the counter will again get minus and it will be removed from cart. So for that we have to create a model, and that will be cart model. So let's go in our, let's close all these pages, and in our data models, so we have created this custom models category login. So on similar lines we have to create cart model. So add a new class. Let's make it public. So inside this cart model, we're going to use all these properties: user ID, product name, product image, quantity of the product, price, available stock, then few other details like shipping charges, subtotal, total, shipping address, and payment mode. So it's a simple class. So let's go in our index.blazor page, and here we have properly binded the data. Now we simply have to write a code which will update the text. Like on user clicks on add to cart, it will be want the session to get updated here. Okay, so let's do that. So here, this is the basic logic, the core of this entire project. What happens when we click on add to cart? So here we are going to declare one flag, cart flag. It's a variable, so let's declare it here. Okay, so its cart flag is false. That means there's nothing in the cart. The cart is completely empty. So this cart flag, when user clicks on add to cart, we are setting it true. That means the user has clicked on something which he wants to add to cart. Now this result. Now from the session, we are going to get this my cart and assign it to this cart model, synchronize it to this cart model. Okay, so this cart model will check if the result is success. If result is success, that means this my cart is available in the session, then it will go in the if part. If it is not available, if it is not available, then it will go in the if part. If it is available, then it will go in the else part. So here you can see we have this my cart. Okay, so we are going to declare one variable here, my cart. So my cart is nothing but a list of cart model which we have already created just now, this model. So here let's go in the first part, if part. If the result is not there, that means there is no object in this cart model, then we'll simply create a new object, and then we'll see the product click dot flag. Whatever product is been clicked, it is having a flag. Okay, so if the flag is true, that means the product is already there in the cart. If the flag is false, that means it is not there. So if it is already there, then it will go in the if part, and from the my cart it will try to search the product, okay, based on the product ID. So this product model is there, right? This product model already have the ID in it. So from the my cart, it will search the existing product. If the existing product is not null, that means it is there, and then it will remove from the my cart and then update the session again. Okay, it's pretty simple logic. It will simply update the session again. If it is not, if the flag is false, that means the product is not there. So we are simply creating a new product. Okay, the new object of this, and the quantity is 1, all the things are getting updated, and then simply we are assigning whatever is there in my cart, that we are updating again in the session. Okay, so this if else is pretty simple if the session itself is empty. Now let's go in the else part. If the session is not empty, then whatever the value is there in the result, that will be assigned to my cart. In the if part, we have created a new instance of my cart. Okay, but here we are not creating a new instance. We are simply assigning the value to my cart. And same logic, if the product is already there, then we are removing it. If it is not there, then we are simply adding it again. Okay, so okay. Now let's refresh and run it. Control F5. Let's go in menswear, click on add to cart. Okay, so nothing happens now on add to cart. Okay, so we'll have to write a code, because if you see this shopping list and this product list are part of the body, and this shopping cart icon and the counter are part of the header. That means they are part of a main layout. So whenever we want to send a notification from the child, sorry, so whenever we want to send a notification from the child page to the parent page, okay, so we'll have to use the same concept which we have used in our admin panel. So before that, whenever user clicks on the add to cart, we have to change the text. So we'll have to need one method to change the text. So we'll create that method here. Okay, it says like update cart text. Okay, so when we want the cart to be updated, the text of the cart, when there's this flag is true, and this flag is true whenever user clicks on the button. Let's put our wait. Okay, so if it is true, then we are simply checking whether the my cart is there or not. If there is something in my cart, then we go inside, else we don't process anything. So what we do is, like, first for all the products we set the flag as false. Okay, then for each of the product we get the value again from my cart, and for we start looping the entire products from the my cart. Okay, then we search for the particular product in the products. Okay, and from the products we get the product, and for that particular product we set the flag as true. Okay, so if we see here in our design, we have two flags here. If the flag is true, then we show remove from cart. That means the product is already added. Okay, so let's run this time. Control F5 again. Menswear. Okay, so here if you see, okay, let me close all this first and rerun, because it was already there in the session, I think. Control F5. Let's click on menswear and add to cart. Okay, if I click on remove from cart, it will get removed. Add to cart, remove from cart, add to cart, remove from cart. But now the next part is, like, whenever user click on adds to cart, I want the counter to get updated. Okay, so let's add the code for that. So for that we'll add the cascading parameter notify dot, and this notify we'll add it in our main layout. We are using the event callback concept. So let's copy it from admin pages main layout and paste it here. And similarly, let's use this one in our body. Okay, so here simply we are calling this notify layout method, and here let's call the user panel service as well. So here in our main layout.razor, I have simply called all the required namespace. Now if you see here, let's introduce this integer layout. Okay, so here in this notify layout, whenever this event is triggered from child pages, we are simply checking whether the user is logged in or not. If the user is logged in, then simply we will check this layout. If it is 0, then we are simply getting this username session and assigning it to this username. Checkout session alert is also there. This I'll explain later on. And then if everything is there, then we are refreshing the state. If it is not, then again we are changing it to this. So here my point of area of concern right now is in this, from my cart we are getting this result and assigning it to this my cart and getting the count, because we need the count currently, right? Let's create the my cart again here. Okay, so this my cart we are creating, and this login logout will comment it off as of now. So let's comment it off. So here in this notify layout, we are simply getting the result my cart from this result, and if we are checking if it is successful, that means the session is there, and from the session we are simply checking the count, and that count we are assigning it to this cart count. That cart count we have simply added it in our header. In the header part, if you see here, I have the cart count. Okay, so let's run it. And on this index.razor, whenever this page is rendered completely, we again have to, because if user refresh the state, then again the state of that cart count should get maintained. So here on this on after render async, so once this index dot is rendered on the first render, we are getting the cart, and if everything is success, then we are setting the true. That means the session is there. So on page refresh also the count should be there itself. It should not again become 0. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, let me go to the menswear. Okay, let me add to cart. Okay, this is not getting updated. Swear add to cart. Okay, let me refresh it. Swear again it is not. Okay, let me debug the code. So on add to cart click update. Okay, we have not. Okay, so on add to cart click we have to call this notify event. Okay, so we have to notify the layout page that a product has been added to cart, and here once the product is loaded, update cart text. Okay, so let me run now. Okay, so as you can see, when I click on this add to cart, the counter has been increased. Let me click again. Now it has become 2. Let me remove. Again it has become 1. Now let me refresh the page. If I refresh the page, this remove from cart and this 1 counter here should be there itself. So it has become 0 now. And let me go to mins. Okay, this state has been retained, remove from cart, but the counter has become 0. Okay, so for that we'll have to check the code. Let me close this page. So here I think we have not added this similar method on main.layout. So on this main.layout, we're going to add the same method, but we're going to remove this entire code. It's a simple on first render, we have to simply call the notify layout. Okay, so that means whenever this method is called, so it's async. So let's put await. Okay, so on page refresh, this notify layout will get called, and then again it will be fine. So let's, this is admin layout. Oh, sorry, not here, not in admin page, in this main layout. So here we have to add, save it. Let's close all the pages and do a control F5. Okay, let's add menswear. Let's add to cart, and let's do a remove from cart. Add to cart again, add to cart, remove from cart. Let's refresh, and you can see the counter is 1 here, and in menswear it is there. So by default, whenever we load, the first category is loaded. So that's why in first category we don't have anything. So let's add a product then. The first category is party wear, jumbo shirt. Stock is 29. And jumbo shirt, let's make this as the jumbo shirt. Save it. Save. Okay, it has been saved successfully. Let's go on the page, refresh it. Okay, so I can add to cart and I can see the counter getting increased here. Let me refresh. Even if I refresh, okay, so on refresh you can see there is a new defect. On refresh this has, and again the counter is okay. So I think on refresh, let me close all the tabs and on this main.layout on index.razor on page refresh we are not getting. So I think on page refresh what happens, this load product by category is called and update cart text is fine. The cart flag is decided here in this one. To fix that bug we simply have to add this here, like update the text of the cart only if the product is not null and the count is greater than 0. Okay, so this will simply solve it. So let's run the code again. Okay, so here we see like this is working fine now. Okay, now so we have completed our index.razor page and the shopping cart icon. Now the next part will be like when user clicks on this shopping cart icon, then he will navigate to my cart. So here in this cart, whatever products have been added from this page, okay, so those products we simply have to show it here, and if user removes that particular product from cart again, then this counter should again get reduced, okay, or he can increase the quantity or whatever, and the entire bill, like what is the total actual bill of the product based on the product price, so that we are going to see in our next video. And then also after that we will be seeing the login and register at the time of checkout. Okay, so that was it in this tutorial. See you in the next video.